You're watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick. As we reflect on the year 2023 that's now pretty much behind us, we recognize that dealers have been met with a myriad of challenges and successes along the way. Today, our spotlight is on international nameplate dealers who adhere to diverse regulatory standards. Joining us now is Cody Lusk, President and CEO of AIADA. You've seen him here before on CBT News. Cody, thank you so much for joining us once again on the show.
Always great to be with you, Jim.
Sure. As we were talking and chatting before we got recording here today, we were saying how it has been one heck of a year. And right, I mean, we've been through so much in this industry in the last few years, but 2023 was a unique year.
Yeah, I think we've been saying that for a while now, and I mean, we'll be saying it about this great industry long after we've passed. That's what makes it fantastic and why we all love it so much.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, are there specific initiatives that have been particularly successful in advancing the association's goals this year?
Yeah, I think, the elephant in the room was and still is really the EV mandate that, among other things, but really that's the one that we're still working on. And I think we've made significant headway in chipping away at this. If you look back and, rewind the clock a little bit when Tesla first hit the market, and it was interesting that, now everything was going to go electric, and it was dealers don't want to sell EVs. Well, that really transformed. And really, as we entered into 2023, dealers were making significant investments, millions of dollars of investments and upgrades to their facilities, and haranguing their power companies to get more power to their buildings so they could sell and provide sell service and provide power to these things. And unfortunately, the marketplace hasn't really taken off. And that's been the story. I think the second part or the last quarter of this year has really been the sales just haven't taken off. And we've got these mandates that are coming, and we've seen dealer pushback, we've seen congressional pushback, we've seen a lot of pushback from the media and others, but most importantly, and the most important thing is there's been customer pushback.
That's right.
And none of this works if we don't have the customers buying these vehicles.
That's right. Do you think people, the OEMs and everyone else out there, maybe not the dealers, but do you think the OEMs just looked at Tesla and said, oh, the market is there. If we build our own EV and we make it cool and stylish, and we can go up against Tesla, certainly with an incredible group of dealers nationwide and service centers and everything else, then we'll grab that market share, and we'll be able to sell a significant amount of EVs out there.
I think there's no question that everybody, a lot of OEMs, especially the higher end luxury OEMs, looked at the Tesla model, not from a direct sales standpoint, but from what they had put together, and that it was kind of an iPhone, wrapped up like it's a car kind of a concept. We're going to do all these different things, and that, I think the problem is the price, amongst other things. When you start looking at that, the price of what you would have to get, the range anxiety is very, very real. The charging stations, the lack thereof, and I mean, I think when you boil it all down, it isn't just EVs, but I think if we look to the future, really the biggest thing facing our industry is the affordability issue.
Right.
And that's going to be a big hurdle as we head into 2024.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Every dealer that I talk to feels as though that is an issue that does threaten the industry. You combine that with high interest rates that are happening right now. Sure, that those rates may come down next year at some point in time, but as it stands right now, you've got an 8%, 9% interest rate on some car loans, and then you couple that with a $50,000 average price of a new vehicle, or just under that, $35,000 for a used vehicle. It's like, where is this going? That is a major concern.
Yeah, and you have a lot of people that were in leases that are now coming out, and they want the same vehicle for the same price, and it's just not. And that's very real. That's just now starting to hit. But we're closing the year strong, so that's always great. And we hope that we can keep this momentum moving forward. But we do know that there will be some headwinds coming their way. There always are. These times weren't going to last forever. At our recent board meeting, one of our directors said, I had to pull out my financial statement from 2019 just to kind of set the course for reality, because we've had it a little distorted the last few years, and we knew that wasn't going to last.
Yes, that's right. We saw that even in the valuations. As you know, I talked to a lot of the advisors out there that advise dealers and buy-sell agreements and such, and they've said, yeah, we see numbers coming down, 15, 20% on the sale prices of these dealerships because of the fact that, now we're looking at, the market getting back to normal, prior to 2019. I think the average day supply on lots is like 57 days now. And of course that varies by make, but things seem to be, getting back to where they were prior to COVID, right?
The car business once again here.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Even to the point that salespeople now have to relearn how to actually sell vehicles versus just pointing to the car, pointing to the sticker and saying, when do you want it, right?
Well, it's a whole new world, back to square one. But then there'll be, there's all kinds of exciting stuff. And I mean, you think about it though, but I'm also just impressed about the product that we see coming out now. Yeah. And talked about the styling and what Tesla brought. I mean, the technology and the styling, there are just so many unbelievable products at all ranges. Even at the lowest end of the spectrum, it's really high quality product from all the automakers, which I think is something we haven't always seen.
Well, that's so true. There's no question about it. Hey, what do you think of these 4,000 dealers? Many of them, I'm sure that wrote a letter to the administration saying, hey, you need to back up on this deal.
Yeah, first of all, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I will say, when I first heard there was a dealer letter going to President Biden, my first reaction was, this, what could go wrong? But then, I saw the letter and realized, how thoughtful and organic and how real this was and well thought out. Again, if you look at it, it's dealers want to be part of the solution. Mm-hmm. But they see the problem is they're not selling, and it's not to the consumers. And I thought it was fantastic. It's been great. It got a lot of great headway. I know a lot of dealers on there. I probably was contacted by hundreds of dealers after the letter went out saying, hey, I never saw that. I want to sign on. So, they could have gotten thousands more to sign on to that. But I think, like I said, I think it was a great letter, very well thought out, and it really shows where dealers are. And I think, and I saw your Senate candidate Bernie Moreno on a little while ago. Yeah. And he putting his sales hat on again. He's like, look, we want to sell anything the customer wants.
Yeah, that's right. And that's right.
Dealers are. We're not anti-EV. We're not anti-anything. We're pro getting you what you want to drive off the lot. And I think that letter reflects that.
Yeah, I agree. And by the way, regardless of what side of the aisle that you're on, how cool would it be to have, a senator that was a former car dealer, right?
Yeah, look, we need more people understanding business and how business operates in our nation's capital. We don't have enough of them, and we definitely need more.
You mean you can't just keep borrowing trillions of dollars and make things work? Why not? That makes sense, right?
I'm never surprised by the influx of bad ideas up on Capitol Hill.
Hey, looking ahead to the new year, what advice do you have for dealers to remain successful? It will be a unique year. Obviously, it's an election year. I think you're going to see a lot coming out of the White House and Washington, in all different forms and fashions to see what we can do to get the economy, started and headed. I shouldn't say started, but headed in the right direction. So, voters feel better about it and citizens, and it's going to be an interesting year, right?
I think no question as we head into 24, and we're coming off some record years. But I think the best thing about this industry and the best thing about all the auto dealers in general is they're always looking forward, and they're always looking to adapt. They're always changing. They're reacting to the marketplace. They're reacting to their customers, and they do that better than anyone else. And that's what makes this industry so unique, is that we do that, and we can do it on a dime. And we don't know, like I said, we're heading into an election year. It's tight in both chambers. We're going to have a colossal battle for the very top for the presidency. And it's not going to be fun for a while. I
No,
don't
it's
think.
not.
Had ideas. There's going to be a lot
That's
of
right.
things. We've got AI spreading all kinds of potentially misinformation. There's all kinds of stuff that can go wrong. But I think, dealers just have to keep we have to keep our nose to the grindstone and focus on what's in front of us and give consumers what they want, highlight what's going on in the marketplace, and again, we'll come out ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, a number of your members of the association are Hyundai dealers. What are they telling you, or what are their concerns about this Amazon Hyundai marriage that we see happening?
Well, I mean, my current chairman has Hyundai and Genesis, and I think there, at first it was some trepidation, and what is this? I know Andy Wright, who's incoming chair of the Hyundai Dealer Council, very well, and that guy's engaged at all levels, not just with Hyundai, and so. I think he's done a great job of getting out and explaining as much as he can. We'll see once they put these pilot programs in place how that works. But I've also had discussions with Hyundai, and they've been very open about and very transparent about it. But again, we'll see what happens once we roll this out. I think anytime someone like an Amazon gets into the marketplace, your spidey sense starts tingling a little bit.
Yep.
But ultimately, we'll see what happens, and we hope that this that works out for the benefit of dealers and consumers.
Yep. Yeah, there's no question about it. Any final thoughts before we close out the segment today? And I appreciate all the time you've given us.
No, again, I thank you for doing what you're doing at CBT News and getting the word out about how diverse and how wonderful this industry is across all sectors. And from the political side to the policy side to the service side, we appreciate all that you do and wish you the best for 2024.
Thank you very much for those very kind comments. And we appreciate all your involvement and all the content, the great content that you give us here at CBT News to push out to our subscribers and the auto industry as a whole. So Cody Lusk, President and CEO of AIADA, thank you so much for joining us once again. Very much appreciate it.
Thanks, Jim. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching Inside Automotive with Jim Fitzpatrick.